Heyo, what's up guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video is gonna be regarding losers queue. So last video was about winners queue and I explained what winners queues is and if it really exists. So if you wanna check that video, go to my latest video or I'll link it in the description down below for you to see. So here's gonna be talking about losers queue. Does losers queue exist? Yes, losers queue exists just as well as winners queue exists to a certain extent. And it is definitely more common the higher elo you go. But losers queue more or less exists in all elos, just in different levels. And we're basically going to be talking about some of the few things that can make you detect if you are in a losers queue or if you're in a winners queue. So, first thing is people being off role. So as soon as you get into a champion select, you will see 5 people joining the lobby. You can copy paste those 5 names into whatever statistic website that you use. I personally use op.gg, but there are websites like League of Graphs and other websites that you can use. And then you basically see, okay, how many people got their main role. And if you see multiple people who got either their secondary role or they got autofilled, then you're most likely in losers queue. Or if you got autofilled yourself or you got your secondary role yourself, then basically what this means is that you are in a disadvantage. You basically like have multiple people who are not playing their main champions, not their main role, and the enemy team will most likely have more people on their main role and therefore they have the advantage and are most likely going to win over you. The second thing is not really something regarding the system, it is something regarding how people behave, and that is people first timing champions. I would say that this is more common in lower elo than in higher elo, because in lower elo, people haven't really played all champions or haven't understood all champions, whereas in higher elo, most people tend to know what the different champions does and what they're capable of doing. So they, even if they first time a champion, they won't be playing the champion as bad as a lower elo player. Actually, higher elo players will probably be performing better on a first time champion than people in lower elo who is maybe maining that champion, simply because of the game knowledge and understanding matchups. And when it comes to like champions and like first timing them, the only thing that you really miss out on is like mechanics and of course the game knowledge, but you'll have the game knowledge the higher elo you go. It's not something that is dedicated to like one champion. You'll basically like somewhat know more or less about like the different lane matchups and your own matchup, etc. So be careful out there, check out your teammates. If they're playing a first time champion, most likely you should dodge because you are in losers queue, simply because of this guy refusing to try hard picking his main champion for whatever reason. He might not be willing to play that. Another thing is if you are on the lower ranked team. So sometimes the system matchmakes the game really unfairly, so sometimes the matchmaking is not really balanced out. So sometimes you'll be playing against either way higher or way lower elo players. And this especially happens when a duo is like far away from each other in terms of ranks. So let's say a gold 4 player can basically queue up with a platinum 1 player. And if you're playing with a gold 4 and a plat 1, it's really hard to matchmake the game because you have 1 player in gold and 1 player in high plat. So like where should you matchmake it? And to matchmake it fairly, it should be in, well, high gold or low plat. But then the gold player technically has a disadvantage because he's playing against better players, whereas the platinum 1 player is playing against way worse players. And therefore it can be really, well, hard to have an even matchmaking and make the game fair for everyone. So be aware that if there are big like LP differences or rank differences, that it can affect the matchmaking. And it's kind of coin flip if it goes your way or enemy team's way. So be careful of that. The next thing is no duos. So if you are 5-man solo queue, you usually are also going to be playing as 5-man solo queue on enemy team. But there is no guarantee that you're not going to be facing any duos. And the more duos you have, the more advantages you have because you have better communication and better like synergy with your duo, or like if people are like duo, than in solo queue if people are solo and only can like ping and type to each other instead of like talking on voice chat. So be aware that if you are a 5-man solo queue team, it is not guaranteed that the enemy team will also be 5-man solo queue. The next thing is that you don't have any smurfs. as the no duo part, because you don't have any smurfs, doesn't guarantee that the enemy team doesn't have any smurfs either. I know that there's now this smurf queue and whatnot, but there can still be smurfs in your games, even if you don't have a smurf. And smurfing becomes more and more common and more natural, and more players do this. So yeah, just be aware that more smurfs will be coming into League, especially like in this gold plat elo. I would say that's probably like the elos that are being hit the worst from smurfs. So yeah, just because you don't have a smurf doesn't guarantee the fact that enemy team doesn't have one. So be careful of that. And then we have two things which is more like a mental aspect of the player base, which are losing streaks and Ragequits. And they usually go hand in hand in one way or another. Basically, if you have some players, again, if you go to OPGG and copy paste the 5 names in, you will basically see like the stats of what's their main role, what's their win rate, how many games have they played, and are they on a win streak or a losing streak. And if they're on a losing streak, they are more easily gonna tilt and gonna be performing worse, and are gonna either rage quit or rage type or rage split or troll or whatever it may be. Basically, losing streaks can affect the player negatively. Even if the player is good, if they're on a losing streak, they're most likely not going to be playing as well as if they were on a winning streak. Simply because of how their mood is, and nobody likes losing, so if you lost a lot of games, then you're basically tilted. And there's even things such as rage queuing that I have been doing myself, and it's not a good thing. Basically, where you just instantly queue. Like, you lose a game, you instantly queue. You instantly queue again, you're tilted, you lose again, you instantly queue again. You lose again, you queue again. Without actually taking this break or like thinking about like what went wrong, what did I do, like what should I have done differently, why did we actually lose? You're just like, we lost, whatever, my teammates were bad, let's go for another one. And then you lose again, and it's just like an endless circle that will just keep on escalating until you eventually have a team that will carry you. And then you kind of like mentally reset, and you're like, okay, I finally won a game. But then you're like, okay, I lost like however much LP you lost from your losing streak. So yeah, be careful of having people with losing streaks. They will most likely easily tilt. There's always the risk of them rage quitting the game. So I would personally say dodge them if they've lost more than like, I'd say four or 5 games-ish, if they've lost that in a row. And you can see that it's like from the same day, and they're just like rage queuing, like instantly queuing up after each game, then you should probably dodge. But if you do decide to play it out, try and not to type at them in chat, because they are most likely gonna easily tilt, and they might not care because, well, they've lost so many games anyway, so losing another game doesn't really hurt them that much. So again, they could rage quit and lose you the game. But yeah, these are some of the things that will basically show if you have a losers queue when you are in champion select. So if you have any questions regarding losers queue, or feel like I missed out on any of the points in losers queue, then let me know in the comment section down below. Always, if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. And then I'm also streaming on Twitch over at twitch.tv/kami_Kazakhs. And yeah, I hope to see you guys over on Twitch, or I'll see you on my next YouTube video. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon.